Good morning, everyone. Thank you for those very generous remarks. I'd like to begin by thanking Evangeline for her tireless, numerous, and outstanding efforts to diversify our legal community, the law schools to begin with. Thank you, Evangeline. Some 70 years ago, the Western world was a mess, reeling from the devastation of a Second World War that had claimed more than 70 million lives. Though Americans had fought bravely for freedom in Europe and the Pacific, back home, Jim Crow and violent racism held sway. Meanwhile, even as Nazis were being tried for war crimes, the newly elected National Party of South Africa instituted apartheid as official and appalling government policy. Some 70 years ago at the same time, a London Times reporter asked Mahatma Gandhi, the leader of the civil rights movement in India, what he thought of Western civilization. Gandhi's reply was, "I think it would be a good idea." Gandhi found his calling as a young lawyer, traveling in South Africa. There he dedicated himself to the cause of ending racial prejudice and emancipating people of color throughout the world. Though he would eventually become the leader of the largest nonviolent independence movement in history, Gandhi was at heart an inspired community organizer, much like heroes of the American civil rights movement, Martin Luther King Jr., Ralph Abernathy, James Lawson, and Medgar Evers. Though they never met, Medgar Evers and Mohandas K. Gandhi had much in common. Both men employed similar tactics in their struggles for liberation: the merchant boycott, the sit-in, the pinpoint protest against some local injustice. They understood that the most powerful weapon in their arsenal was a mirror to hold up to their oppressors' arrogance and ignorance. And though both would become martyrs, they never once faltered in their mission of speaking truth to power. "If you are a minority of one," Gandhi said, "the truth is still the truth." Shortly before being murdered, Evers echoed these words as he declared, "You can kill a man, but you cannot kill an idea." So why the history lesson? Because you are our nation's next generation of attorneys, the next generation of leaders. You are role models to your peers, reaffirming the principle that hard work yields outstanding results. You are role models to young people in your communities who strive to succeed despite the institutional obstacles they face along the way. And soon you will be role models to your classmates at the law schools in which you enroll, because your presence will enrich the community. My name is Arun Alagappan, and I love to tutor. 29 years ago, I started a tutoring company called Advantage Testing, and in 2007 launched the Advantage Testing Foundation. We run the largest math prize for girls in the world, and we are a principal sponsor and partner of LEADA, widely regarded as the leading college access program in the nation. In 2009, inspired by LEADA, I founded Trials, the training and recruitment initiative for admission to leading law schools, in partnership with Harvard Law School and the NYU School of Law. Trials is the first major law student diversity initiative undertaken at Harvard since 1967. The explicit goal is to identify the next generation of leaders in the legal profession. Today, you'll have the pleasure of meeting one such leader, my former Trials student and friend, Derica Purnell. Derica is a fiercely intelligent and deeply compassionate woman who has distinguished herself as a powerful leader at Harvard Law School. She has led Cambridge demonstrations against police violence, and this past January wrote an essay in the New York Times about the new civil rights movement in America. In a minute, I'm going to explain why Trials has been so successful at helping students of underrepresented backgrounds earn admission to the nation's best law schools. But first, I'd like to share with you some personal background. I grew up in New York, the world's most diverse city, in Queens, the world's most diverse county, and I attended the United Nations School, the world's most diverse school. So diversity is in my blood. My father was an international civil servant, a career official in the United Nations. Every couple of years, we traveled to India on the home leave the UN granted its employees. On one such visit, I was 9 years old. My two brothers, my sister, and I squeezed into the back seat of our grandparents' car to drive through the unpaved streets of a small village. I remember staring listlessly at my reflection in the window, a few inches from my face. When we stopped at a crossroads, I heard a rapping on the glass. I rolled down the window, yet somehow found myself still staring at my reflection. I was so startled that it took me a moment to realize that the dark-skinned apparition before me was actually another boy my age. Hand outstretched, he stood outside our car wearing only a tattered pair of khaki shorts. Otherwise, I might have been looking into a mirror. As I stared into his eyes, I saw a glimmer of recognition. He too had noticed our resemblance, and for a moment, neither of us stirred. Then I handed him a coin my grandmother had given me, and he strolled off without a word. This encounter has haunted me throughout my life. It has also reinforced an important sense of humility about my place in the world. Whatever challenges we may have faced as an immigrant family in New York were insignificant compared with the daily struggle for survival of that boy and millions like him. So whenever my ego gets the better of me, I recall the boy, the virtually identical faces that connected us, and the vast worlds of difference that kept us apart. I founded the AT Foundation to advance the academic and professional aspirations of students of every background by expanding their educational opportunities. The Foundation's guiding principles are innovation and efficiency. By forging creative partnerships with leading universities such as MIT, Princeton, Harvard, and NYU, and numerous public service organizations, we seek to pool the outstanding academic resources already available in our nation and deploy them where they are needed most. So what does the AT Foundation do? We provide tutoring, test preparation, scholarship resources, financial assistance, and academic and professional counseling to help students achieve optimal results in high school, college, graduate, and professional school and beyond. Our mission is to diversify the nation's leadership pool. We view tests as powerful vehicles for learning because we have found that with the right approach, rigorous long-term test preparation can help students of every background to succeed in their academic and professional lives. This outlook has been fully realized in Trials, a program founded on the premise that there must be outstanding, undiscovered leaders in groups that have historically remained underrepresented at the nation's top law schools, and that such leaders would thrive in the legal profession if only given the opportunity. In terms of diversity, the law stubbornly lags other highly skilled professions, including medicine and finance. Homogeneity in the legal profession can be traced to the nation's leading law schools, which continue to struggle to enroll talented African American, Hispanic, and Native American applicants. The challenge is even starker with regard to achieving socioeconomic diversity. When we began, Elena Kagan, then Dean of Harvard Law School, now an Associate Justice of the United States Supreme Court, joined our Advantage Testing Foundation board as Vice President. At that point, I presented a blueprint for the Trials program to Dean Kagan and Ricky Revesz, then Dean of NYU School of Law. The goal was to identify talented students of modest means and underrepresented backgrounds and prepare them for admission to the nation's leading law schools. For 5 weeks each summer, 20 bright, motivated students would receive rigorous law school preparation, dominated by intensive LSAT preparation, while also participating in mock classes with Harvard Law and NYU Law faculty. We determined that most students admitted to Trials should come from undergraduate institutions that do not typically send their graduates to top law schools. The summer residency would alternate each year between Harvard Law School and NYU School of Law, with the host university providing students travel, room and board, and classroom space. And in addition to free LSAT instruction, our foundation would provide material testing, a $3,000 stipend for each student, and a range of administrative and financial support. We quickly turned the blueprint into reality. Trials launched in 2009 at Harvard Law School. Over the last 6 years, we've enrolled 6 classes in the Trials program. Here are 10 facts and figures from that period. Number 1, each year we receive more than 2,000 applications for the 20 spots. Number 2, the majority of Trials students attend colleges that do not typically send graduates to top 10 law schools. Number 3, 35% of our students in the 2014 Trials class attended HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities. Number 4, the median starting LSAT score for the 120 Trial students so far has been at the 40th percentile. After their work with us, the median final score on the LSAT for our students was at the 90th percentile. Number 5, the vast majority of Trial students are first-generation college students. They are of modest means. They have overcome massive adversity in their lives while remaining cheerful and generous in spirit. They contribute to improving society while maintaining good grades. Number 6, Trial students have been admitted to all of the nation's top 10 law schools. Today, 80% of Trials students are enrolled in a law school ranked in the top 10. Number 7, in 2014, the last complete admission cycle, 11 out of our 20 Trials students were admitted to Harvard Law School. That is more students admitted to Harvard Law School than from more than 99% of the colleges and universities in the United States. Of our 120 graduates, 28 have been admitted to Harvard Law. Number 8, of the several Trial students attending NYU Law School, 3 are Ruth Tilden Scholars and 2 are Ann Bryce Scholars. That means they do not pay for tuition, room, or board, and they get free rides through 3 years of law school. Number 9, Trials alumni include a Rhodes Scholar, a Rhodes finalist, and 2 Marshall Scholars. Number 10, Trials alumni are now serving in government, NGOs, politics, and legal aid, and working as lawyers at such leading corporate law firms as Cleary Gottlieb, Paul Weiss, Ropes and Gray, and Farella, Braun and Martel. The success of Trials points to one of the guiding principles of our nation. Hard work. You should aim high and you can succeed. That is the birthright of every American, and it is the non-negotiable premise that informs the work of the Advantage Testing Foundation. Reject excuses and commit to excellence. Trial students know that when they measure themselves by everyday standards, they are bound to fall short of their potential. Our scholars are not satisfied to finish the year at the top of their class or to achieve a high score on the LSAT. Those are fine achievements, but enrolling in leading law schools and contributing to the diversity and quality of our nation's leadership is more important, because diversity is essential to prosperity. Just look at nature. In some 3.5 billion years of evolution, nature has produced countless biological species. Species that are unable to diversify their genetic material, fail to evolve, and die out. Ecosystems that lose biodiversity when species become extinct grow increasingly unstable. In plain terms, diversity is one of the primal conditions necessary for life to flourish. So you would think we would have figured it out by now, right? Wrong. Many of our finest institutions struggle to build communities that are truly diverse, that reflect not only a multitude of racial and ethnic backgrounds, but also a range of socioeconomic and geographic origins, agile minds, unique perspectives. I mean, come on, man. After all these years, don't we get it? The idea that the best scholars, the best lawyers, the best leaders might all emerge from a narrow, racially and socioeconomically homogeneous population is just plain stupid. A nation is strongest when it draws leaders from every background, and men and women from every talent pool. Of course, as a society, we are quick to express our commitment to equal opportunity, colorblindness, public service. We are quicker still to celebrate the triumph of merit over prejudice. But we seem reluctant to put in the work to create a society that sustains these values. We look for shortcuts, wring our hands, wallow in excuses, and whine like spoiled babies when we have fallen short. Trials was founded on the premise that whiners aren't winners, that rigorous preparation and hard work create opportunity. Trial students internalize the value and reaffirm its power in everything they go on to do. To me, trial students reflect the true promise of America: bold, creative, energetic, motivated individuals, unified by a shared ambition and purpose. By the time they finish the program, trial students welcome tests as opportunities to prove themselves. They become cheerful and empathetic leaders in the communities to which they return, and they stare down all those who would dare them to succeed. The German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "The purpose of every man's life is to regain the seriousness he had as a child at play." What he means, I think, is that the purpose of every man's and woman's life is to be inspired by what you do, to find your calling and to pursue it. Only by engaging in work that captivates you can you become fully realized. And when you make such work your life's mission, those secondary benefits, generating an income, serving your community, making the world a better place, will follow naturally. Today, you stand collectively as a proud and boisterous refutation of the grim statistics that dare young men and women of color to dream about success. You are proof of the proposition that hard work, determination, intelligence, and ambition can overcome discrimination and hardship. You can lift up individuals, communities, the nation, and ultimately the world. Reject excuses, commit to excellence. I urge you to try. In closing, I'd like to share with you 3 simple lessons. Number 1, work hard. Thomas Edison once remarked, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." Always press beyond the suggested boundaries of assignments. Get to work a few minutes early and be prepared to leave a few minutes late. Apply this lesson as you prepare for the LSAT. Number 1, don't try to cram your LSAT preparation into 4 weeks. Begin studying at least 4 months in advance of the official test. Number 2, don't take 5 practice exams. Take 70. That's every single released exam. If you do that, you will be in the 99th percentile of students who prepare. Not necessarily in performance, but you'll do more work than the rest of the students, and you will do relatively better. 3, don't take tests in front of the TV. Adoy. Simulate the official test conditions. Find a quiet room and ask a friend to proctor the exam for you. Finally, don't become discouraged if you perform disappointingly on a practice exam. Analyze your performance and carefully review each question. Few people have suffered in life because they work too hard. There may always be someone around who is smarter than you, but it is your decision whether you will be outworked. As Ray Lewis says, effort is between you and you. Number 2, remember the rule of 3 and 33. My father used to tell me, good news spreads to 3 people and bad news to 33. Create good news around you. Life is a blessing that we should use to contribute to the world, to make a positive difference. So live life morally and industriously and avoid generating bad news. Number 3, be generous. Share what you have with those who are less privileged. In a world in which more than half of our fellow human beings live on less than $2 per day, we can all count ourselves among the world's most fortunate. In whatever community you find yourself, always take up the call of helping others. And do not despair at the enormity of the challenge. Remember the proverb, it is better to light a single candle than to curse the darkness. So my friends, future lawyers, future leaders, here's what I hope for your days ahead. I hope you will serve your communities even as you question authority. I hope you will develop a passion for lifelong learning and for life well lived. And I hope that as you pursue your goals with vigor and courage, you remain guided by the virtues of empathy and respect for all human beings. In this way, you will live and work with the seriousness of a child at play, and you will honor those who came before you. May peace, happiness, love, and good fortune follow you always. Thank you.